This is the worst school in the world. Grumpy boys fight with each other. Girls with weak personalities are bullied by others. Their behavior is crazy to the extreme. A girl was forced to tear her clothes off. A female teacher steps forward to protect her, only to be molested by a student. Prohibited items can be bought and sold here. All teachers and principals are nervous when they hear the name Brandon School. It's a school full of gangsters and has a high crime rate. In such a harsh environment, it's impossible for students to study well. The school's passing rate on the basic exams was only 38%, which was one of the lowest in the state. The mayor is panicking. Only with a 75% pass rate could he be re-elected as mayor. The task of fixing the school climate was assigned to the Secretary of Education. He strongly recommended a teacher to be the principal, Joe, who had insulted the mayor 20 years earlier. Joe was a passionate teacher, but not a good employee for leaders. 20 years ago, he was unhappy with the mayor's proposed school management policies and made a scene at a leadership meeting. Then he was demoted to teach in a small school. Now the mayor has to transfer Joe back to the middle school as principal to keep his job. Joe returns to the school he left 20 years ago and is filled with anger at the poor conditions in the school. He called a meeting with all the teachers and announced that the school would only listen to him. He rearranged the positions according to each teacher's personality. He also asked them to write a list of all the bad students. Joe was like a dictator. The new principal called a meeting with all the students and teachers. The students were not in order. The whole hall was a mess. Principal Joe and the teachers ordered the students to be quiet. But the students, who were used to making trouble, didn't listen. Angry Joe announced the expulsion of the 300 bad students on the podium. Then all the security guards forcibly removed the students. The rest of the students, stunned, slowly quieted down. The new principal seems very tough indeed. Joe told all the students not to complain about society or give up on themselves because they're from a bad background. The only thing they came to this school for was to learn. Only learning can change their future. Joe left after his speech. No one applauded him, but there was a subtle change of heart among the students. They began to look forward to the new principal's reforms. The parents of the expelled students were against Joe, but he remained resolute. He couldn't allow the school to become that kind of atmosphere, and he couldn't let 300 bad students ruin the future of 2,700 students. One of the expelled students came back to Joe to plead his case. In order not to be bullied, he followed others to do bad things. Now he wants to come back to class. Joe agrees, but he asks the student to behave, and it makes him a target of observation. From then on, Joe carries a loudspeaker wherever he goes. When he saw unruly students, he publicly criticized education and punished those who made mistakes by singing the school song. He believes that the school song is the soul of a school and can influence students without them realizing it. But the music teacher was too busy sending students to competitions to teach them the school song. Joe fired the music teacher. Whenever someone didn't listen, both teachers and students would be expelled. This is Joe's simplest management policy. Then there was trouble at the school. A gangster snuck into the school and got into a fight. Joe realized the situation and made a new decision. He locked all the exits of the school. Under the new principal's reforms, the students who used to fight are now sitting in their classrooms and learning. The school environment has changed dramatically, but in the latest exams, the students' pass rate is still only 33%. They're still a long way from reaching their goal. He thinks it's the teacher's fault. They have to increase the class time. Even on weekends they had to make up for it. Teachers are working harder, and the students are getting more enthusiastic. A tense countdown begins, and the whole school prepares for the next exam. Shortly after, Joe held a pep rally for the exams. He wanted everyone to be united. Teachers, students, principals, all are equal. They must all be held accountable together. Everyone was inspired to sing the school song. They really felt the soul of the school. But on test day, Joe was arrested by firefighters for locking down the school. The parents of the expelled students have been upset with Joe. They wanted to remove Joe with a failing pass rate. All the students and parents disagreed. When the exams were over, the students gathered outside the courtroom to demand Joe's release. The mayor couldn't control the situation, so he asked Joe to come out and talk to the students. Joe didn't defend himself, but told everyone to trust the law and wait for the result. At that point, the vice principal arrived with the latest test results. All 2,700 students passed the exam. Joe finally breaks through all the doubts and leads this chaotic school through its transformation. At the end, he and the students sang the school song and embraced a bright future for all of them. The great Joe really exists in reality. This is the movie Lean On Me, which is based on true events. The principal was very strict, but it was all because of his love for his students. Joe's success proves the point that a student who doesn't get good grades isn't untalented. If there is a responsible teacher to guide the students, they can be successful. This is the end of this movie. Thank you for watching this movie. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. See you next time.